What's your overeating style? Ever notice that your overeating experiences are different from one another? Sometimes you space out while you're overeating, and before you know it, the food is gone. And other times, it feels like there's an urgency to eat everything in sight that comes out of nowhere. What you're experiencing is different overeating styles. Hi, Eve here from Vitamin Eve Nutrition Counseling, and today we're going to talk about a variety of different types of overeating styles. I made this post in response to a client I was working with. She said something interesting. She didn't recognize herself as being an emotional eater. She didn't feel like she was emotionally eating. After all, she wasn't feeling emotional when she was eating. And this is a common experience for people. They don't feel like the term emotional eating really describes their overeating. So I created this video about the different types of overeating. And I did an Instagram post on this, and it's so interesting. I got so many private messages letting me know how relatable this content was. So the good news is I had some more time to think about this and look it over. And so what I'm sharing with you is even more comprehensive than what I put on Instagram. And so the reason why it's important to know what kind of overeater you are is because it could help you figure out what to do. I mean, in most of my videos, I love to share tips and strategies on how to navigate overeating. But in this one, I thought it would be very important for you to get a deeper understanding of yourself and what type of eater you are. By the way, you're going to notice that some of these categories actually overlap, and you might find that you're able to identify with multiple types of these overeaters. And finally, this isn't every type of overeater out there. You probably have your own nuances, and I want to hear from you because I want to know if there's anything I left out. So be sure to pay attention and to share your thoughts with the community here in the comments below. So here we go. The first type I want to share about is the emotional eater. So do you turn to food for comfort during tough times? Whether it's stress, boredom, or fatigue, food becomes your go-to coping mechanism to soothe those emotions. Classic examples of this is someone who's going through a challenging experience. And the top challenging experiences are death of a loved one, divorce, moving, major illness, injury, or job loss. Some of us may be dealing with more than one of these at any given time, so it makes sense that we would use food to take the edge off of what we're feeling. Type number 2 is a binge eater. Ever find yourself devouring a large amount of food in a short span of time? It could be triggered by emotions, or it could be simply the result of extreme hunger or feeling deprived. So some characteristics of binge eating is eating more rapidly than usual, getting over full, eating in private to hide the quantity or the types of food eaten, and feeling disgusted, depressed, or guilty about it after. The third type is deprivation driven eating. Do you feel unsatisfied by your food or any other aspect of life? Sometimes this could be driven by actually not eating enough food and nutrients during the day. So if you're on a diet or something. Other times this could happen from feeling the deprivation of food or anything else. So it may go down something like this. You've been on a restrictive diet, maybe you're avoiding sugars or carbs, or maybe you're eliminating an entire food group. So you may not even be good at it, by the way. But this feeling of deprivation, you get this feeling of deprivation, and eventually you give in to these intense cravings and binge on the foods that you've been restricting. Type number 4 is a compulsive eater. Are you constantly snacking when you're not hungry? Maybe you're grazing mindlessly or eating without clear boundaries. Maybe that's your style. There's no real beginning or end. It has nothing to do with hunger or fullness cues. If this is you, you may often find yourself mindlessly munching on snacks throughout the day. Again, even when you're not hungry. It's kind of like the seafood diet. Like you see the food, so you want it and you eat it. And you struggle to stop once you start eating. Type number 5 is the number. Do you zone out or dissociate during your meals? Are you using food to escape and you just return to your senses after the eating is done, feeling overfull and maybe even mad at yourself? By the way, this could be a really disorienting experience. And despite the amount of food eaten, it could also be unsatisfying because you never get to actually experience yourself eating and savoring the food. It's almost like you fog out and re-emerge when the plate is empty or the food is gone. In some ways, it's like you're taking a mini vacation. I mean, you might come back home all mad at yourself, but it does give you a mini reprieve. The second type of eater is a codependent eater. Are your eating habits influenced by those around you? Whether it's to blend in with the crowd, please others, or maybe it's to fulfill a role. You find yourself eating based on external factors, the people around you. So it could look like this. You're out to dinner with a group, and even though you're not really hungry, you feel pressure to eat just so you could participate with those around you. Or maybe it's your partner, family member, or friend, and you feel that you need to eat when they're eating or what they're eating to connect. Or for some, they're known as the eater. So they have to say yes. So they have to eat at every situation and say yes to food. So you feel like you're feeling some kind of expectation or role when you're eating. The seventh type of eater is a non-emotional emotional eater. Do you consider yourself a not emotional person, yet you find yourself randomly consuming foods even though you're not hungry? So there could be more going on for some people because you may have some feelings that are outside of your conscious awareness, or you may not be feeling anything at all. So like if you like to snack while you're watching TV in the evening, it could just be that. Or in other cases, some people don't realize that there are underlying emotions going on. So for instance, if you're not having a feeling, but you suddenly notice a strong urgency to get food now, there may be some feelings going on that you just may not realize. And type number 8 is it just feels good to feel stuffed. Do you feel a sense of peace or comfort when your stomach feels overly full? Though this might sound strange to some people, there are actually people out there who get this feeling of familiarity and safety that comes from feeling stuffed. This could be you if you notice that you're starting to get full and you just don't stop because in some way it feels good to feel so full. Otherwise, for some, it could actually be a form of self-punishment to feel so uncomfortably stuffed. So, if you have done any of these or a combination of these, I want you to know you're not alone. In fact, I have experienced all 8, if not more, of these different types of overeating in my food journey, and that's why I'm so passionate about helping people heal their eating who have these types of food issues. So I'd love to hear from you. If this was helpful, please give me a thumbs up or a comment just so I know to create more content like this. And if you want to let us know which one of these you are or which combination of these you could relate to, that could be really interesting to share, so it could feel more validating that you're not alone if you struggle, because there's a lot of people who are watching this. And finally, if you're tired of overeating and you want to talk about this with someone and you feel ready to finally become a normal eater, below I have a link to my complimentary food freedom call with me, if you'd like to have that food freedom call if you've never had it before. And so during this call, you'll get a chance to explore what you want your relationship with food to look and feel like. Then we'll get a chance to explore the things that are sabotaging you, keeping you stuck and holding you back. And from there, you'll have more clarity, more energy, more motivation to finally get this food thing handled. And again, I love to offer this to my subscribers. If you haven't had one already, please fill out the form below. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Don't forget to give me the thumbs up and let me know what you're thinking. All right, thank you everybody. Bye.